Hey, what's up guys? Sloth King here. Today we're going to be working on the 2006 Lexus RX330 and we're working on the AC system today. So, as the title says, I'm going to be replacing the compressor, the expansion valve, and then the receiver dryer. But in this car, same thing with the Highlander, the receiver dryer has a desiccant filter that you just replace on it. It is super easy and it just takes a few minutes. So I'm gonna guide you through how to do this whole entire process. We have our work cut out for us though, because this is, part of this job is gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt, especially to get to the expansion valve. It's not the easiest one to get to, but it's not the hardest. And as far as the compressor goes, the manual states that you have to remove the radiator, or at least the radiator fans, to get to it. But I know we can fit it from underneath the car. We can get it out without taking the radiator or the fans off. So anyways, the reason why I'm replacing the receiver dryer and the expansion valve is because no one will warranty or offer the warranty for your compressor or any other part that you're replacing unless you are replacing the expansion valve and the receiver dryer at the same time you are replacing the compressor. It's just how it goes. And since this car is almost 20 years old, while I have the AC system completely evacuated and open, I might as well replace the receiver dryer, the desiccant filter. It's 20 bucks, and get the expansion valve replaced. That's another 20 bucks or so. And of course, it's gonna take a little bit more time to do all that, but you're better safe than sorry, and just pay for the service to have your refrigerant evacuated once instead of multiple times. Along the whole thing, before we jump in, I'm going to list the torque specs and every single part that I got. I'll have everything in the link in the description below so you guys can just read everything off, pick out the parts that you need, and you'll be good to go. So anyways, let me stop talking. Let me get the vehicle prepped so we can start working on it, and let me show you what parts that I got for this model, because there's two different styles of compressors that you need to worry about. And this will also work on the Lexus RX300, the 330, and the 350, but there will be differences in the compressor style on the 350 and some 330s. Oh, and it will also work on the Highlander, because this is just a fancy Highlander. Anyways, let's get right into it. All right, so as far as the compressor goes, this is the 471 1280. This is the more common, I believe the model is like, it has a 10 and a C in it. This is the more common one. And one thing that you'll notice is this does not have a sensor on the side, because they came out with newer style compressors after like towards the end of or beginning of the 2006 years, because this is technically an 05 it was manufactured, but they list it as an 06. Anyway, so there's two different styles. I got the more common one. I will also have that listed in the description, so that way you know, hey, this is what to look out for, and you really need to check out the compressor that's on the car. Everything is Denso here, because I want it to last. Expansion valve, desiccant filter. This is actually what the filter looks like. This comes with the new plugs with the new O-ring on it, so you don't have to worry about it. This is you will need a hex 14 millimeter to get this off. But yeah, so that's that. And all this stuff comes with the new seals. You will need PAG oil to lubricate the seals. But yeah, so anyway, let's start taking this whole thing off. All right, I'm just going to disconnect the battery. All right, so next we need to take off our belt over here. On the 3.3 liter on this engine, there's two separate belts. If you're working on the 330, you're gonna have one belt and you'll just loosen up the belt tensioner and then you can pry it off. But this one, we need to loosen up the alternator and the adjuster bracket on the alternator. So that way we can loosen the belt to make it so that we can take out the AC compressor. So you're going to see one bolt right here. This is a 14 millimeter. This is the pivot bolt for the alternator. And then if you look right over here, it's hard to see on camera. This is the adjuster bolt for the alternator that adjusts the tension. And then right next to it, there's a 12 millimeter that is the lock bolt for the adjuster. We're going to loosen up the lock bolt, and then we're going to loosen up that bolt, and we should be able to pivot the alternator down without touching your adjustment bolt, but we might need to move the adjustment bolt. We'll see. But let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'm just going to take my breaker bar on this 14 millimeter, loosen it up. All right, now that's loose. And it should be enough so we can pivot it, but I'm just going to turn it just a little bit more. All right, that should be good. Now the tricky part is getting to this 12 millimeter down here. It's hard to show on camera, but you will see it in person. Maybe I can get my ratchet on here and then show you the location. All right, if you can see where the ratchet is, that's right where the adjuster lock bolt is that we need to loosen up. Oh, there we go. Slow and steady. Now this bolt, from what I remember, we need to take it out fully so that way we can adjust it. All right, so once you loosen up that pivot bolt, you'll be able to loosen up your adjuster. You'll probably loosen it about maybe an inch. And you should be able to push down on the alternator, and then you can just pop the belt off. And then once the belt is off, we can start going underneath the car and working on getting the compressor out. So let's do that now. All right, so if we look underneath here, there's this access cover that we're going to remove. It will have 8 10 millimeter bolts on it. All right, now that we have this one off, we can move that aside. You don't have to worry about this one. This one can just hang here for a little bit. Remember these screw ones, they will go into the corners here. And same thing on this side. Don't get them mixed up with putting them in the other spots. All right, so now here comes the fun part to try to show on camera. We need to remove this connector. And let's see, there is a little bracket that this is on. There's a 10 millimeter right here that we can disconnect and move out of the way. So that way we have room to take the compressor out. You will see a connector right here. And then there is, I believe there's one more, yeah, there's one more connector that leads over on the side right here. That's really hard to see. And then once you take that off, there's a black bracket right here. So there's going to be 4 bolts. 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here, and then in the same spots, but right up top, there are 2 more bolts. Actually, they're nuts. You have to have a deep socket to take them off, and then behind those two nuts, the bolts themselves will have the same 12 millimeter nuts on them that you're going to loosen to take out the two top studs. Once we are able to take those out, we can disconnect the two AC lines, which there's one here and then one right up on top. They're just two 10 millimeter bolts. So let's start taking this stuff off. Oh, and the black bracket. I forgot to expand a little bit on that. If you see on camera right here, there's a bolt. Take that bolt off. Once we take that off, we can squeeze this connector out, and this black bracket is on this bottom left bolt and the top left bolt. The alternator will be in the way, as you might be able to see, but in person you can see where the nut is on the top left bolt on the compressor. The alternator is a little bit in the way, so you're gonna have to just push on that, get that up and out of the way, and you'll be able to access that bolt. Oh, whoops, I did not mean to unmount that connector. I was trying to push down on this and then separate the two, but I guess it just came with it. All right, there we go. It's a push type. Push it right there, disconnect it. All right, got that off. All right, that's out. All right, I just pushed out this wire that was on the black bracket. You can squeeze it and push it through, and then it'll free up this wiring. And this bracket right here, I think it can just, I believe it just pops right out, but we'll see. All right, so on this wire, I need to disconnect from the compressor. We should be able to fit our needle nose pliers in here and squeeze it off. If that doesn't work, which I don't think it will, I'm going to get my trim tool. Try to just gently go up on it and pop it free. Here we go. Got it out. Let me try to show you closer up on it. There's two tabs that you squeeze. You're supposed to be able to fit some pliers through there and squeeze it and pull it out. Now that's free. We can kind of shove that out of the way. We'll need as much room as possible to pull this compressor out. All right, so what I did, I pulled up on the alternator and I adjusted my adjustment screw. I tightened it down, and then the adjustment lock, the pivot lock that I showed you guys, I just went ahead and tightened it. I didn't just tighten it like all the way. I just made it so that way the alternator doesn't move. And then now I'm going to fit my ratcheting wrench up here onto this bolt. It should be a 12 millimeter. And I'm going to loosen that. Oh, that is on pretty tight. Maybe I can just fit my ratchet on there. All right, I'm going from up top, and right now it is located right underneath that pivot bolt. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's located right underneath the pivot bolt on the alternator. I'm going to take that out the rest of the way. All right, I got that out the rest of the way. Now I'm going to loosen up these compressor bolts. I'm going to start with the top ones and then do the bottom ones. All right, I'm working on this top left one. There we go. That one is nice and loose. Make sure you have the alternator pretty high up because you won't be able to fit a socket in there or the extension. Now that it's loose, I can take that out by hand. All right, so that first nut is off. I'm going to take off this bottom one real quick. Because once this is off, we can go ahead and take off that bracket and get the bracket out of the way so we can reach the stud and remove the stud up there. And while I'm here, I'm just going to loosen up this other bolt. Actually, I'm going to make it easier on me so I don't strip the bolt out. Wow, that's on tight. I'm going to spray some PB Blaster on that. There we go. This is why I have not taken off the AC lines yet. I don't want to get any kind of contamination into the system until I'm ready to take off these lines. There we go. Sweet. So that stud is nice and loose. And I think this one back here should be loose too. Oh, I mean, I've not taken out this bottom left bolt yet. All right, that bolt is out. Let's take this bracket off. This bracket sits in there just like this. Set that aside, and then now I should be able to fit a deep socket on the top left bolt and remove that one completely. Oh, I think it's actually hand tight. No, it's not. I was just not on it. Here we go. Oh, can I take it out now? Oh, it's like really close. And there we go. There's that top left bolt. All right, so I'm going to try to loosen up this one a little bit more now that I have the PB Blaster sitting on it. All right, so that one is pretty much ready to come out. Now we can go ahead and loosen up these two lines on the compressor. So there's this one here and then this one up here, which I don't know where the bolt actually is. Oh, it's right there. What an awful spot. It's like right up next to the exhaust manifold. Wonder if I can reach that one up top. Let's find out. And yep, we can reach it because it is located right here. You'll see it right past the oil dipstick. Now I'm pretty sure I will be able to fit a shallow socket over it. It shouldn't be that deep of a stud. It's like a nut on a stud. Oh, guys, you suck. Really? All right, I'm gonna put my wrench on it. There we go. It is turning. Now I believe I can fit the ratcheting side on there and just take it off the rest of the way. What an awful spot. Sorry if you literally cannot see since it's so dark. All right, now that I have it loose, I'm just going to keep suffering and turning it 1/8 of a turn while you guys get to magically see it done. So I just realized halfway through taking that nut off on that top line, if I would have taken the other line off first, I would have had a straight shot to take that off without fighting it. So I'm going to take off the other line and then I'm going to finish taking off that nut. Sorry if my arm is in the way. All right, that is out and line is disconnected. Now I can take off that top one a lot easier, and then we can go ahead and remove these last 2 bolts and then take out the compressor. All right, I got that nut off. Now I just need to pop the line off. There we go. Move this out of the way. And then just need to take off these last 2 bolts. All right, that one is out. All right, that is out. And now we can go ahead and try to fish this whole thing out. Move the wiring harness out of the way. Now I'm probably gonna have to move the camera. All right, let's just see if this will pop out. There we go. It is out. Aha. That was actually not too bad to do. The bolts were just kind of annoying, but yeah, I can't speak right now. I have had a lot more trouble with other things, but this one's not too bad. Let me show you what we're gonna have to transfer over to the new compressor, and then just put it back in and put the new bolts on. All right, so we need to transfer this piece over to our new compressor over here. And these 2 bolts are 5.5 millimeter. Make sure you have those on hand. Wow, that's really on there. Really? Oh my gosh. All right, looks like I need to hold the compressor with my feet. I'll take this off. All right, that is on there really tight. Oh, Jesus. That is stripping. Oh, did I just strip the socket out? Really? Oh my gosh. There's a partial of it too. That's not good. All right, well, I'm going to try to figure out something to do with this. All right, guys, so I'm at a standstill on the compressor. I cannot get this bolt out. I need to actually bring this back to my place, get a bolt extractor, and take it out that way. It is, it's rounded off, and the socket is no longer fitting on there. I can't even hammer a 5mm on there. So that sucks. I will have to do that in the morning, but I'm going to continue working on this thing. I'm going to take out the filter for the dryer, and we'll go ahead and replace that. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and replace that expansion valve tonight. All right, guys, so I just ran into yet again another fun snag. So our 14mm hex head does not fit under here because this part of the support is in the way. I don't know why it's like this. I know on the Highlander, it's easy to just pop it on here and just take it off. Yeah, I've decided that I'm just going to tackle that tomorrow as well, since this won't take that long. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start taking off that glove box and try to get to our expansion valve. And then we'll do these two things tomorrow. Alrighty, so if we open up the glove box, shine some light in here. Over here, you're going to see a little tab. This, you're going to turn counterclockwise, and it should pull right out. If you have a little bit of issue with it, go ahead and get a trim tool and try to just pull on it a little bit. There we go. Oop. So this little guy will pop out the rest of the way. There should be one on each side, but it seems like the previous owner lost this one over here. So now the glove box is on its way to falling out. So let's go ahead and close it real quick. And if we take a look down here, so we need to take this plastic piece out. So it should just pull forward. If it doesn't, they use a trim tool, and there's a little slot right here that you put the trim tool in, and it should push the clip back. And there's one more spot on the right side. Push that clip in. There we go. Now that should drop down. And on here, there's a little connector for the light. Undo that, and we can take this whole thing out. So if we look up here into the glove box, you should be able to see a couple screws. One right there, one over on that side, and that should be the only two screws holding this black piece on. So once we take those two out and the two bolts at the bottom out, the glove box will fall down, and then there is a little button here. Make sure that you go ahead and disconnect that when you take this whole thing out. All right, now let's go ahead and take those two bolts out on the bottom of here, and then we should be able to slide this whole thing out. Now, to remove the glove box, there is a 10mm bolt here, and over on this side, if we pull this trim piece back and move it out of the way, there's a 10mm right here. Boom, right there. Go ahead and take those two out, and the glove box should just come right out after that. All right. I got those 2 bolts out. All right, here we go. I'm gonna move this trim piece out of the way, bring this down, and then now this whole thing should just pull out. Grab this side a little bit. There are a couple pop clips that will disengage. Make sure your trim piece is out of the way on the right-hand side. Ideally, take everything out of the glove box before doing this, but I did not think of that clearly. All right. Now let me show you the connector that we have to undo. It is this blue guy right here. There we go. Now the whole glove box can come right out. And I'm going to put its contents back inside of it, which is just the owner's manual. Welcome to underneath the glove box / dashboard. All right, so we need to take out this vent piece right here, and the bolt is located right on the back side of here. So if you can see it, it is right there, that guy. You can either use a screwdriver or a socket with an extension on it. I will try my luck with the screwdriver first. Oh yeah, that's nice and easy to get. All right, now this guy should just wiggle right off. If I can see properly. Oh, there's a little tab right here that we need to poke off. Not really poke off, but it's like a little clip. So like that. There we go. Now that is off. What we need to do is gain access to, oh, it's this guy right here. It's behind a bunch of sticky tape. Let me see what I can do to get in there and get a decent shot. All right, so we need to take this section out. So undo this connector here, this connector down here. And then if you look under here, we're going to loosen this bolt. And then there are a few little bolts up here. 3, I believe they're 10 millimeters. I can't really see them right now. No, they're 4. 4 of those, and then, let's see. There is 1 bolt here that I took out already. Just seeing where it mates up. That was a 10 millimeter. And then there's going to be a 10 here, a 10 up here, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that is all the spots that we need to remove to take this whole assembly out. There actually might be, actually, nope, I think that's it. Yeah, so these 4 bolts, oh, these are, I believe these are 8 millimeters. Remove that, loosen up that. I believe we have to loosen that bracket a little bit just so this can pivot down a little bit, or up. We need some leeway to pull it out, but yeah. Let's go ahead and start removing these and see how hard it is. All right, let's go ahead and take this connector off. There's a little tab on the side of it that you push in, pull out. Take that guy out. All right, this 10 millimeter up here. I'm going to unscrew. And then we're gonna get this 10 millimeter out. Jesus, that was obnoxiously tight. All right, that guy is out. All right, I'm going to remove these 4 bolts right here and see if I can just pull it out. If not, then I will loosen this up. And yep, those are 8mm bolts. All right, and while I was down here, I just noticed something. There's a white little tab right here that holds a part of the wiring harness on there. We are going to take that off, and I can't reach the back, but I believe I can try to fit my pry tool right in between here and remove that, because we don't want that stuck on here. Oh wait, I think I can reach the 2 tabs from the back side. I wonder if I remove this filter, if I can gain access to it a little easier. Oh, quite possibly. There we go. That is nice and detached, and it does look like I need to remove that bolt right there. I believe that's just a 10mm, which I need my deep socket for, or my ratcheting wrench. Looks like I need to loosen up this nut right here. It's so hard to reach in there with a camera in front of me. All right, I got that off. I really hope this computer doesn't need to come out as well. I think it does, which is this bolt right here, this 10mm. All right, I'm just going to tilt that sideways a little bit so I can take off this nut back here, this big old washer. Now, let's see. I feel like I need to lift up on that to take this plate off. And then this guy should just... Oh, there we go. Turn it to the right a little bit. I just saw that there's this clip right here that's holding it in. And I'm pretty sure... Boom. Yeah. All right, my camera overheated, but I needed to stop. Remove this connector on the bottom. And then I think there's a little tab that's holding it in. Yep, there's a little guy that's holding it in. Take your pliers, and he should just pop right out. Oh, whoops. Actually, this is not really a tab. It's like a little clip right here. Just clips right onto the plastic fin. Move that out of the way. And then this whole thing will start to drop. It'll gain access to this clip. If I can move the camera. This clip right here on the actuator. There's a little tab on the underside right here. Since there's tension on it, it's really hard to do, but I have to set the camera down so I can take it out. There we go, I got it. When there was tension on it, I had to push it in, pinch the tab, and pull it out. And then now this whole box can come out. All right, there we go. That was so much work. So now, you see that tape right there? This black sticky stuff? We're going to cut the underside of it and try to peel it back both ways. And then that's where our expansion valve is. And then we can just take it out and then put all of this stuff back together. I gotta let my camera cool down, but I'm going to just cut the bottom of this and start peeling it away. It's like some butyl tape or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's just like to keep the condensation from dripping everywhere. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna do that and then I'll be back when the camera is cool. All right, so I peeled back that butyl tape. Let me try to get the light on it a little bit better. I cut the bottom and I separated as much as I can around the whole entire piece. Those two bolts right there, those are 4mm. I can't speak. Those two bolts right there, those are 4mm Allen keys. So get that, take those two bolts out, and then we can remove this hose, and then we will see our expansion valve right behind it that we can pry off. I already cracked the two Allen bolts loose. The one on the left was a bit tighter. It was kind of a pain to get. And I believe my camera should be cooled off enough now, so it shouldn't overheat while I do this. All right, there's one. And there's that second one. All right, nothing should come out of here, but just in case, I'm going to put a few paper towels right underneath the expansion valve. Now we should be able to just pull on it, and the lines should separate, which they did. And then now the expansion valve, we should be able to move the lines a little bit and then pull the expansion valve out. That sticky butyl tape might be holding it in place, which I believe it is. But that is all right. I'm just gonna put my screwdriver back there and try to just move some of that tape as much as possible. Oh, it's coming loose. Here it comes. Oh my gosh. Sorry if that did not catch it, but geez, there's like no room under here with the camera. All right, so the expansion valve, this is the back side. This is the front side where the lines came on. If we come up here and just take a quick peek, you're going to see two of the inlets with some light. All right, there's a bottom one and then there's one right up on top. Take those O-rings off and put the new O-rings on. Make sure you lubricate them with some PAG oil. It's gonna be really hard for me to show it, but just take those off, replace the O-rings. They are different sizes. This is the part where it goes in and the O-rings are there. There's a big O-ring and a smaller one. And then same thing with the lines over on this side. There's going to be a bigger O-ring and a smaller O-ring. Replace them, lubricate them, put it back together, and reinstall everything. Make sure you don't tighten this too much. I forget the torque that's on it, but I think it's like maybe 10 foot-pounds. or 8 foot-pounds, something very small. Pretty much, if it's tight with the Allen key, you're good. And yeah, this is a pain in the butt, but I'm going to just replace this, put it all back together, and then call it a night. All right, guys, I just got done putting the expansion valve back in. I'm about to put the whole blower motor assembly back in, and then I'm going to be done for the night. So I will conclude this part of the video. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow when I have that compressor piece transferred over to the new one, and then we can figure out the filter situation. And then we'll be all done. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. Let's go ahead and start working on this compressor. I'm going to find my extractor bolt. I'm going to try a regular socket that I have on hand and see if that fits. If not, then I will go the extractor socket route, and then we'll transfer that housing over. So let me go ahead and grab that, and let's get this done. All right, I think this might work. Oh. Oh my gosh. I actually have some very, very small wrenches that might work. Ah, this is actually a 5.5 millimeter. And yep, that has been rounded out to the point where I cannot use that. Maybe the 5 will work. I highly doubt it though. Nope. That guy's not working either. Alright, let me go get my extractor sockets. Alright guys, so I do not have a bolt extractor that is small enough for that. I've tried a few different things, but I'm going to have to resort to my Dremel and cut a slit right over the top of it. I'm probably going to do it sideways so I don't hit this part. And that will allow me to put a flathead screwdriver on it so I can finally break it free. I hope that is deep enough. Oh my gosh. Man, this sucks. All right, so I cannot get this off. I'm going to have to just drill it out and extract the bolt.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, so I've been working for about an hour now. My initial my extractor, my bolt extractor, I had one and it broke off. So I was unable to drill. So I had to use my Dremel and just cut and cut and cut. I cut into the housing a little bit, not enough to like damage it, but I was able to just grind away that tap or the extractor, and I've been drilling at it, and this is what it looks like. I'm about to, it's loose now, I'm about to rip it off. So let's celebrate a little bit. Woo! Yeah. Oh my God, that's, look at what I had to do. This is awful. Like, the hole is still there. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find a bolt that will fit in here and at least try to get a washer that goes around the outside maybe. Just put a new one in and call it a day. They don't need to be tightened down super tight. That was awful. That was awful. I'm pretty sure the aluminum might have like micro welded itself in there because I'm still unable to get that thing out. But I'm happy. I got it now. I can go to the store and get a new bolt because the other side was totally fine. We're gonna go fix this thing. We're gonna get this done today. But I'm gonna clean this up so that way there's no metal shavings going into the system. But anyways, guys, this is awful. Actually, I've got an update. So I looked at the new compressor. This top part right here, this actually had a new bolt in it. So it actually fits over the top pretty well. And I'm pretty sure I'm able to screw that whole thing in. If not, I'll put a couple washers on it as a spacer and tighten it down. I just cleaned this whole thing out. I'm going to replace this seal right here and then pop this guy on and see if it actually fits in there. All right, guys, it does fit and it tightened down just fine. Oh my God, why didn't they supply that size of bolt? That is a 10 millimeter. They could have literally just put a 6 or an 8 millimeter on it and it would have been fine. That is annoying. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna clean everything up, pack up, and then we're gonna go back over to the Lexus and install this thing. All right, guys, I'm back at the Lexus and I just put the compressor in. I didn't fully install it yet, but it just went in the same way that it came out. It really didn't give a fight. Now, here is how you go ahead and tighten this down. Because remember, we have the bracket that has to go over here. So I temporarily installed all 4 bolts. These ones, this one I snugged down, that one I snugged down, and then that top one, I just snugged it down. I'm going to torque it down to spec. So the spec is 18 foot-pounds or 216 inch-pounds. Since my inch-pound torque wrench can fit in here, I'm going to use that. I'm going to tighten down that one and just torque that one for now. And then I'm going to take this one out and then put the bracket on, and then we're gonna torque down all 4 bolts. The reason why I put all 4 in is because if I just tighten down that one and maybe this one, I did not want to chance this one not lining up properly. Even though I have that third one up on the top right, better safe than sorry. So I'm about to torque that one down, take this bolt out, put the bracket on, and torque them all down. Now the sequence to torque it down is bottom right, top left, top right, bottom left, and you're done. All right, I just put the bracket on. Now we can go ahead and torque it all down. Oh, there we go. I wasn't too sure if I heard it. I felt it, but the line hit right here. Anyway, now time to get this top left one. Done. Now bottom left. There we go. Now go ahead and remove these plastic covers. Replace your O-rings on your lines. Make sure you oil them and then put them back on. And these lines do not get tightened down very tight. It's like something like 86 inch-pounds, which is really nothing. So put it back on, plug in your connectors. Don't forget about putting this bolt back on the bracket for where the alternator is. And I believe that one is still 18 foot-pounds as well. Don't quote me on that. I forget it. I'll pop it up on screen if I remember to. All right, I'm gonna finish it up and then we can replace that filter. All right, guys, so the compressor is all installed. I got the belt back on. The only thing left to do is to replace that filter. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I'm just going to get a pair of vice grips on here. Luckily, this is not on too tight. This camera angle is awful. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to keep doing this until I take the cap off. And now, it should come right out. Really, is that frame really in the way? All right, false alarm. I'm able to put a pry bar underneath the condenser, lift it up, and then now I can take this out. Jeez. All right, so you're gonna need some needle nose pliers. You're going to reach up in here and try to grab that filter. Oh yeah, it's way up there. I'm going to need to set this down, and I'm gonna have to kind of bend the cowl out of the way a little bit so I can fit my needle nose up in there. I don't have a good place to set the camera, so just try to reach up in there, grab the bag, and then pull it out. Once I'm pulling the bag out, I'll show the rest. All right, guys, I've been working at this for nearly an hour, and I finally got it down. This was so hard. I went to Harbor Freight. I tried picking up one of these grab tools. There's like a little claw finger that comes out of here. Let me show you. That didn't work. I got some long reach pliers. That didn't work. What ended up working was my pick tool. I was able to spin this stupid filter around because this piece at the end, you're supposed to grab it and pull it out. It was like folded over itself and I was unable to grab it. This frame is in the way, this bumper's in the way, and I was just barely able to reach my pistol grip needle nose pliers up in there. And it was only after I was able to unfold that piece. Usually I don't lose my cool on it, but I lost my cool a few times trying to get this thing out. It is not fun. I scanned through the manual and it says you have to remove the radiator. So you can, and like this core support up here. And then you're supposed to remove the condenser to take this thing out. What a dumb design. The Highlander, this piece sits right over this frame rail and you're able to come up and grab it. I was tempted to just cut a notch out of this thing, bend this metal back so I can reach my pliers straight up through there. Now that I have it coming out, I'm supposed to pull this whole thing out. All right, there it is, one dirty filter. Now we can grab our new one. Make sure when we install it, this piece is facing down. You'll see like a down arrow. And then now we just push it right back up in there. Alrighty, here we go, back in. Oh, and I changed my gloves. You got to make sure you do that. All right, and it goes. And then we're going to use this cap right here. We're going to lubricate the O-ring and the plastic threads with some oil. This has a filter attached to it, like a little screen filter. And then now I'm going to push up on the condenser. And then we're just going to tighten this guy down. All right. And then now we just go ahead and tighten this whole thing down. All right, there we go. We're finally done. Finally. All right, I just need to go ahead and throw the undercover on, clean up my mess, and that's it. All right, guys. I'm all done. That took way too long. Took me 12 hours to do all this. I started last night, had to come back over today, ran into the snag with that compressor, the compressor bolt. I spent so much time trying to get that stupid filter out of that condenser. That was awful. Not to mention how tedious it was trying to get the expansion valve out of the car. Anyways, guys, hopefully my awful experience dealing with this will guide you on how to get this stuff done. If you're just doing the compressor, it's not that bad. Just be careful with those bolts, the 5.5 millimeter. I recommend changing them out to a bigger size. That's what I did. Anyways, if you guys want to support the channel, go ahead and click the link in the description below. It will lead you to my shop. You can pick up one of these shirts, one of these hats. I have a couple different variants of these. If you're planning on getting any of the parts, I will have everything linked in the description below. Like always, guys, I'll catch you on the next ride.